Hello everyone and welcome to episode 195 of the Lost Levels podcast. Today we are going to get into our Smash Ballot predictions and hopes. Not so much predictions, but just our hopes and wants. What we want to see, not so much what we actually think we will see. But before we get into that, I'm your host, SuperZambezi. And today I'm joined by a very trashy individual, Soul.
I think that's the first time I've ever heard SZ ever use that word, so I'm happy for you, actually.
Yeah, it just dawned on me when you were speaking today. I'm like, this is a trashy individual.
You finally figured out the English language. You finally figured out that trashy is a word.
Yeah, I looked it up in the dictionary. It said soul. I made the connection, so I had to go with it.
It's encyclopedia. It's trashy.
Yes.
It's me.
There's a Wikipedia article too. It's all there.
I'm honored, guys.
But yeah, so basically we're going to pick 3 characters that we want. We're going to go over some movesets that we think would apply to that character, that would work well, a stage that would work well with that character, some music, maybe some items, assist trophies, final smashes, things like that. So yeah, it's just me and Soul today. So 6 characters. Yeah.
Woo.
I'll go first with my very first one. I picked Dixie Kong from the Donkey Kong series. I think Dixie Kong would play a lot like Diddy Kong. Some moves, I think, like the bubblegum characteristic, I think that would be a big part of her moveset. So, like, your standard B would be some kind of, like, I don't know.
Bubblegum pop gun?
Yeah, I don't know if it'd be a gun or...
Well, no, it would make sense if she's, like, a semi-clone of Diddy Kong. Yeah. I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, so yeah, you could switch those 2 out. What's Diddy's standard B, actually?
It's the peanut pop gun.
Then what's his side B? Oh, it's that weird jump.
The monkey flip.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's not what I have down for
Yeah,
her.
what was your moveset for her, then?
I just said the standard B would be just, like, chewing bubble gum. I don't know if that's an actual characteristic of hers, but...
Wait, what would she... How would that work? What
like
does chewing bubble gum?
Like, you could chew the bubble gum and blow a bubble, and that would explode, or whatever. I don't know what it would do, but... There's an idea there. I'll just switch it to the bubble gum gun or whatever. And then side B, I wrote just a hair attack. Up B would be the hair twirl. Down B would be like the the slap.
Oh, like the slam.
Yeah.
Like Donkey Kong.
Like Donkey Kong, because like they do that in Tropical Freeze, so works there. I think. For some of the tilts, like air tilts, I should say, you could have the feather arrow from Donkey Kong 64, the one Tiny had. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Sorry, mate, I do not know.
You didn't play. Well,
I don't think I ever played it.
In Donkey Kong 64, they all have some kind of
special
weapon, yeah. So Donkey Kong has the coconut barrel, and Diddy Kong has the peanut pop gun. Tiny Kong had I don't know what it's called, but it was a arrow or a bow that shot out air. Let me back up. It's a bow that shot out feathers. So I think Dixie could take that because apparently they're sisters. I think.
I don't know. I've heard that, but then I think it's only mentioned in one game, and they don't really whatever.
Oh, that's right. You don't know much about Donkey Kong.
I do not know about Donkey Kong. Is Dixie Kong in Mario Tennis?
The new one?
Yeah, that was...
No, she is not in there. Diddy Kong's not even in there.
Oh, I know Donkey Kong isn't, so...
That's good. I'm glad you found out, finally. Moving on.
Yeah.
Just one more
moveset
thing, I think. Hair. Grab again. Final smash. This might sound kind of weird, but I think it would be cool to see her hair, her little ponytail... grow to like a giant size, and you can just like whip that around and smack people left and right.
I know both Boo and Starry would be a fan of that, but that'd be weird.
It would be kind of weird, but I mean, you already have Jigglypuff who grows to 30 times the size. But yeah, okay. Stage. Let's hope I pronounce this right. Gangplank Galleon.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's just Gallant or I'm gonna search that up literally right now because Galleon pronunciation.
Oh, good.
How to pronounce Galleon?
This is
Sorry.
very important, so everyone can pronounce this correctly.
It's Galleon.
Okay, there we go.
Gangplank Galleon.
Yeah, so I want that as a stage. That's from Donkey Kong Country 2. And, I mean, you could just imagine that stage. You have the flat part of the ship, but then some higher up areas, like, what's it called? The Crow's Nest? Like,
Yes.
It would be some kind of ship stage. Think of the Paper Mario stage, basically.
Or the pirate ship level, or stage.
Or that, yeah.
The Wind Waker one.
And for a gimmick, the only thing I can think of is barrels have to do a lot with the Donkey Kong series. You could find barrels, you could throw them at people. Some explode. Pretty simple, whatever. Music, I want the Hot Head Bop lava theme from Donkey Kong Country 2. Same thing with the Gangplank Galleon theme. And the theme Mountain Mania from Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. That's from World 2. And finally, if any items or assist trophies are part of this character, I would have Kiddy Kong as an assist trophy. And since Kiddy Kong's known for like rolling, I would just have an assist trophy that's really similar to Dylan.
Yes.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe a little bit different so they're not identical, but something similar. So that's my first character.
Mine is, I'm gonna get to the one that's kind of like, because the other two I have are actually predictions of mine as well, but I both really want them in the game. So my first one is not a newcomer character, it's Hawlucha from the Pokemon series. I like a lot of the Generation 6 Pokemon because I am a really big fan of I'm a big fan of a lot of the generations, but both Generations 6 and 4 are kind of like the ones I really like.
Oh, me too.
But, and everyone I don't understand why people don't like, I do, but I don't
what don't they
necessarily
like?
hate. Of Generation 4, people just don't like how, well, I understand Diamond and Pearl. Diamond and Pearl are awful, but Platinum fixed everything up, and that's why I like it.
That's a whole nother topic.
And Generation 6, I think it's just, it kind of was slow. X and Y was kind of slow, or it was slow and fast at the same time. Like, you had a lot of the gym leaders were super close together, but it like seemed like it took forever, and there weren't a lot of new Pokemon, but the new Pokemon that were added, I don't really feel like there were a whole bunch of weak spots,
yeah.
But Hawlucha is the only fighting and flying Pokemon, and because of it, it's a unique bird Pokemon that's shaped like a figured kind of like a luchador or a wrestling Pokemon. And so, I said, like, think of sort of a mix between Charizard and Kirby. Charizard being very close combat and Kirby and having, like, flapping with his wings, but, not that much. And Kirby being, he has really good grab games, and he has, like, suplex moves just like Kirby and stuff like that. But with his movesets, I was just thinking specials. And for B, I thought of the move Strength. And in this case, Strength would just be like this giant, like, push forward, and it'd have a lot of knockback, but like a small hitbox. And the reason why I have this is because probably Hawlucha would be really good with combos, and his B down is low sweep, which would just be a quick kick that that sends you flying upwards, and then you could, use pretty much any of his other moves depending on if you get there quick enough. Like, Strength could be used in air, like a powerful aerial move, just like a simple aerial. Or his up B, which is his signature move, Flying Press, which is a fighting and flying type, move, which is the only move like that in all the game as well. And basically it would be almost exactly like I guess King Dedede's, to be more specific, just probably not, as high range. And that could probably work with low sweep. I just like the move low sweep in general. And probably, like, for standard attacks, he'd use a lot of his, like, talons, because he does have talons, so, all that stuff. I didn't really think of that stuff, but his grabs are, definitely, wrestling moves. He would probably have my favorite of Kirby's, throws is his up throw, where he launches them up in the air and then slams them back down on the ground. That one's my favorite, so when I think of Hawlucha, that's it. And
a quick question, because you compared it to Charizard and to Kirby. What's the size of this Pokemon?
He would probably be, well, he's like, I think think 2 feet, so they're not big. But obviously, size is nothing in Smash Brothers. So I would say he'd be slightly below Lucario height, probably. He'd be a small character, and he'd be somewhat fast. Definitely almost a little faster than Kirby, but not, say, Sheik or Sonic.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I was... It's just really confusing with Pokemon. You'll have, like, the biggest Pokemon against the tiniest Pokemon. They look like just a few feet difference.
Yeah.
So that's what's a little confusing. Yeah, you can continue. Yes, please.
Everything else, since Pokemon's kind of already included in this, I didn't add much. However, I did say if they were going to add one, because I've been playing Super Mystery Dungeon, I think they should have the Lively Town, which is the main place of Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon. And Lively Town is a town. I mean, there's not much to it. I said it would probably be a walk-off stage, and you just fight in front of the I think it's a fountain that's in the middle of it. So just right in front of the fountain, and they'd have Pokemon from the town cheering you on. Like, I'd want those Pokemon that are normally in town being in it too. Like, there's a Murkrow, a Snubbull, there's a Fletchling, I think. Just like the townsfolk cheering you on, and the gimmick would be, I don't know. I didn't put anything down.
Something with the fountain.
No. Ampharos, who is the leader of the team, he would get in and he would electrocute the fountain. That would happen, and anyone comes in, it gets shocked. Boom! Oh, I did it. That was smart. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I have no idea what a Snubbull is. What on earth?
Oh, Sinner SZ.
Is that...
Snubbull is a Generation 2 Pokemon.
I'm not very well. I'm good with Generation 1, Generation 4, and Generation 6. Those.
This is Snubbull. Snubbull was one of the Pokemon that was reclassified as a Fairy-type Pokemon. By the way, fun fact, it used to be a normal type. I don't like it.
Is that all for your Hawlucha?
Yes, that's all for Hawlucha. I like Hawlucha very much, and I originally said Gallade, but I both contest that I don't think he'd ever be in the Pokemon games now, or the Smash Bros. Games now, and Hawlucha seems a better fit because we have, I know, obviously he's not coming in, but we have so many Generation 1 Pokemon, and I get it. It's Generation 1. People understand it more, but like, I don't care for Charizard that much. He's not fun to play with. I just don't understand him. I think Hawlucha would be better.
Yeah, I think I would.
Oh, I never said his B-side, which is Steel Wing, which would just be kind of like the Falco Phantasm, except it'd be a little slower.
Okay, so I didn't mention this, but for Dixie Kong, I think Dixie actually has a pretty decent chance of making it in. Like, I think that's been a requested character for a while, so that's not too far off.
Especially since a lot of people want another Donkey Kong character, which
yes.
I agree, there should be one more, and I don't want...
Okay,
because a lot of the... Well, yes, that too, but a lot of the Donkey Kong characters aren't... They just don't have the potential for being in the game. I feel like the only one who really has a shot, or should have a shot, is Dixie Kong, because Lanky Kong is no... There's a lot of, like... There's a lot of one-off characters in the series of Donkey Kong, and that's why I feel like there's very few characters who could have a chance. Dixie Kong is one of them, though, because she, especially with Tropical Freeze, and a lot of people who know pretty much anything but the Nintendo at least know Dixie Kong, along with Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong. So I think she of all the characters, should be in Smash Brothers. Of all the Donkey Kong characters, that is.
Yeah, I agree. So Dixie Kong, pretty good. Now, you were saying this is what you would like. You would like to see more Generation 6. Now, do you think that's actually likely? Is that actually a prediction of yours?
Honestly, probably not. Not even in the future of Smash Brothers. Because when we have the next Smash Brothers coming out, I would assume that Generation 7 would be upon us. So, I mean... who would be next? Obviously, we wouldn't know there, but if they were going to add another Pokemon, it would probably be from there, and would also, I'm really thinking they're going to trim the fat and get rid of Charizard for good, and there's a chance they could be getting rid of Greninja as well. I don't think Lucario is going to get rid of, though. He's kind of like a well-known Pokemon.
Oh, I forgot Greninja was in there. That is a Generation 6.
Yes, Greninja is a Generation 6. I didn't forget about him. It's, I want a modern Pokemon. Even though I know a lot of people do not like Generation 5, and I don't hate it, I kind of like a lot of the Pokemon. But
that trash bag Pokemon, and we got to see that one in there.
I don't understand why people knock on Garbodor because at least
bag.
I get it, but like at least I thought it was kind of clever. Like to be honest, it was maybe Garbodor not so much, but I think Trubbish works because Trubbish, who is the previous the small one, he works because he both looks like a Pokemon and a trash bag. He's kind of cute too. I mean, Diglett just evolves into three Digletts, and Magnemite evolves into 3 Magnemites, and Doduo just gains an extra head. I kinda understand having a trash bag Pokemon, or I don't understand Garbodor's design, but I mean, Trubbish does look like it has to evolve, and it's an okay one. But with Generation 5, I want at least one Generation 5 Pokemon. Even though I know it would never be in it, my favorite Generation 5 Pokemon is, Whimsicott. Because Whimsicott is, first of all, a weird Pokemon because it used to be really good in the metagame until they banned, I think, Prankster and like Thunderwave or something. They banned Swagger and it was a Swagger user, so now it's not all that good anymore. But, I mean, it learns like Psychic, and now it's Grass Fairy. It learns like Psychic, Shadow Ball. It learns some weird moves, especially for a Grass type, and this was before it was turned into a Fairy type. A lot of Fairy types could use Shadow Ball and stuff. But, sorry, that's an entire thing. I just like the Pokemon Whimsicott, and I want it to be in Smash.
Whimsicott, is that like a sheep? Or does that look like cauliflower?
Yes, that's the one.
Okay. A lot of Generation 5 is based on other items. Now, I know this is not related to them getting into Smash, but I always loved Generation 5. I always like Chandelure, which is a Chandelure.
Yeah, honestly, first of all, yeah, that was like, I've seen people make Pokemon like Chandeliers of Ghost and Fire types before. Like, okay. Yeah. But no, it's not like they stole or anything. But like, they had some really cool ideas, like Cinccino, which is... Stop it! Cinccino, which is also one of my... I really like. Even though it kind of just looks like Minccino with a whole bunch of more fur, I like it, and it looks really cute. Or, Electros is one that I kind of like. I like the idea of the Excelgor and, Escavalier relationship. That one's really cool because they do look like fleshed out Pokemon. And, Golurk. I think Golurk is one of the better ones. And I really don't like Zoroark, but I do like Zora a lot.
Ooh, or Absol.
No.
No?
I don't think they're ever gonna add I really doubt they're ever gonna add another quadruped Pokemon, because Ivysaur is the only character that ever played on 4 legs. Pikachu kinda does, but that doesn't even count. It's just mostly for running.
Whew, wow, so much this is going over my head. Okay.
Sorry.
We're gonna
go to Smash.
My second character. Now, this is where I kind of go off the deep end into this is really not going to happen. Next character, Phoenix Wright from the Ace Attorney series. If you listened to our podcast last week, we actually went over the very first Ace Attorney game. So,
and as he just became this crazy rabid fan in a month.
I really have. I've playing the third one right now. I play it every night. It's awesome. Love it so much.
Sorry, that wasn't a laugh towards him. It was just go on.
It just means that it's so good you'll be hooked.
Yes.
There you go. I didn't really know who to compare it to. First, I wanted to say he would be as fast as Captain Falcon, but then I'm like, that's pretty cool.
That would make no sense.
So I just said similar to Link. I think Link's pretty standard. I don't know about this. I either want really slow but strong attacks or really fast and kind of weak attacks. I'm not sure which one, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. The smash attacks, I think it would be cool. Actually, let me back up. A lot of the stuff that I'm talking about here, I got from Smash boards. So thank you to everyone who contributed there. But that's where I got my ideas. Technically, not even my ideas. But yeah, so smash attacks. He would point in a direction and he would say objection, hold it, take that, whatever. And then the actual bubble that you see in the game will appear on the screen, and that if touching that will hurt you.
Down smash, that'd be weird, but I like that. That's whoever made that idea, applause to you. Yes. That's so funny. I just kind of became a Phoenix Wright, for Smash Brothers. I just kind of became one now, because that is the funniest thing.
Cool. Yeah, that's what's great about Smash. It can be a serious fighter, but it also can be totally funny. I mean, Wii Fit Trainer, we're so used to it, but That's Wii Fit Trainer. Like, hello. Yeah, so those would be the smash attacks. The down B would be a counter, and he would show his attorney badge, and that would counter the move. I'm stealing all these ideas, but yeah, continue. The B attacks, I didn't really assign these to anything, but I just think it'd be cool if he used various items from the different games. So at one point,
he'd throw the clock.
Yeah, the clock, the statue clock, the thinker, or he would throw one of the steel samurai spears, the murder weapon.
Oh wait, no, that'd be funny. He'd be throwing a whole bunch of evidence.
Yeah, evidence. He'd be throwing the urn from that's from the second game. A metal detector. What else did I?
That's weird.
I don't want to say a bunch of evidence. I don't want to spoil things. So he would either throw them or use them in his hand. I'm not really sure how it would work. For final, that's all I have for actual moves. Final smash. This is from the second game and on. He would pull out the Magatama, I think that's how you call it. And a bunch of Cyclops will appear on the screen, and the chains will go through the screen. And this is very similar to Shadow Mario, Bowser Jr.'s Final Smash. Touching the chains would hurt you. Touching the Cyclops would hurt you. Yeah, that would be his Final Smash.
I don't know what any of that was.
You gotta play this.
I know what chains are.
Oh, good. I'm glad you know what chains are. That's good.
So I know exactly what he's talking about, actually.
Exactly.
100%.
Stage. The stage would obviously be the courtroom.
Courtroom.
Yeah. The only thing, I guess you would have, the stage would have, the defendants, or the defense attorney area and the prosecutor area, that would be flat. And then in the middle, you'd have a raised platform for the judge, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then, this is all coming to me right now. So
I just came up with an idea too, so I hope it's not the same one.
It might be. The judge would slam his gavel. That was my original gimmick, in one of those three spots. But now that I'm thinking about it, the gavel can hit the stage hard enough that it'll push that section down and raise the other two, or something like that.
So, okay, my idea is completely different.
Okay.
I would imagine that you wouldn't be you would just be in a platform sort of in front of the scene taking place before you, and it would be like the sprite of Phoenix Wright on one side and the sprite of Edgeworth on the other.
Okay.
And the judge would just proclaim someone guilty or not guilty, and depending on which side that would be guilty or not guilty, whoever would lose and win, it'd be like a giant blast zone, and yeah. And it would just happen every once in a while.
I want this to happen. Yes.
That's cool. I like that idea.
Oh, and this makes me so excited. That's what sucks about these predictions. That they're probably all
they
wrong.
aren't real.
They're never going to happen. But whatever, it's fun. For some music, I want to hear a remix of the Objection theme. I want to hear... I think you're going to have to do remixes because they all sound really, old and dated, yes. Maya's theme. And I really, really like the Pursuit theme from the second game. The one when you're, really cornering someone and you're about to win. So that would be the music. For an assist trophy, the only thing I could think of was Miles. He would basically show up and kind of do the same thing with the Objection. Maybe it's just a bigger Objection bubble. Yeah. So Phoenix Wright, yeah, woo, smash. And I think his chances are really low. So, by the way.
Yeah. But I like that's, whoever came up with that idea for these smashes that's so funny. So my second one is the one that I'm I can't decide whether or not which one has more a chance, but probably this one has more likely of a chance to be in Smash Brothers. But it's the Inkling from Splatoon, which I think, honestly, I do think both of my other choices are near 100% getting in the game, which might be a stretch considering my second character, but I really feel like the Inkling is going to be considered for Smash. At the very least, they considered it. I compared it to, kind of the opposite of Little Mac. His normal attack, kind of like Mega Man, but not. Because Mega Man's kind of the opposite of Little Mac. The Inkling is, kind of fast. I would compare his speed to just above Link, as you said. But, maybe Toon Link speed.
Okay.
But, a lot of his standard moves would his standard jab would just be the splatter shot, and it would be 3 shots. And a lot of his aerials would use the slosher weapons, because I like the slosher, and I think it would, like the back aerial I can see just swinging the bucket back, and above they just do an overarch thing, and maybe for like the front they'd splat a whole bunch of ink down and be like super powerful, but it would take a while to do. I don't know. But his or her, because you could choose either one. It'd kind of be like a Robin situation where there'd be 4 of each with different colors and skin tones and stuff. But their standard B would be the Splat Bomb. So you throw it, and it would just set and explode. And I know they don't do, like, special moves to the DLC characters, but I would want them to do it for the Inkling. So, like, for instance, instead of the Splat Bomb, you could change the custom moves would be the Burst Bomb, or the Seeker, maybe.
That's cool.
And the Side B would be the Roller, and you could it's kinda like, if you press Side B, you just continue walking, and you have this roller mowing down path.
Oh, man.
But it'd be an easy attack to dodge. It would just be really powerful.
Okay.
It would probably have really high knockback.
Is there a move that you could compare it to that's similar?
Honestly, I couldn't think of one.
I'm trying to imagine.
I mean,
like,
I can't imagine it. Like, imagine like someone in Splatoon, like just walking and using it. The Inkling would obviously go faster than he would normally run with the roller, but he wouldn't go too much faster.
See, I'm trying to think. Is there an attack in Smash that is continuous and you can move at the same time, and it just doesn't stop?
Well, imagine sort of like Wario's, except you don't jump on a vehicle. You would just move. And you wouldn't fall off stage, of course. You have free control to stop as long as you let go. It would just be slower. You wouldn't go as fast as Wario, and you could only go in one direction. You can't turn around and stuff. But I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. Their B down would be the Charger weapon. It would take a while to, fully get the horizontal range, but you can hold down. It would go extremely far horizontally. I don't know if it would work if you could, like, change the aim too. I don't know if that would be broken or not, because I'm not the character maker, but I think that'd be cool if you could actually change the direction it would go, so you could move it up a little bit.
Is the Charger... is the Charger...
This is like the Sniper.
The Sniper?
Yes.
Maybe it could be like the... Well, Sniper's a little different, but you could, in Brawl, not in this game, but in Brawl, you could have that weapon that kind of shoots fireworks, I think? And you could aim it, like, up and down in the direction.
The firework cannon, yeah, but this one would just be a quick ink missile thing, just a whole bunch of ink.
Oh.
Bing.
Okay.
With the roller, I said that you could switch it to the Kraken roller, or not the Carbon roller, which would go faster, less power, and then, because I didn't mention the roller's custom moves, it would be much faster, and then just not as powerful, and then you do the Ink Brush, which is way faster, but it doesn't have much knockback. The Chargers are the normal Charger, and I said I think it was the Kelp Splatter Scope it's called, and it's basically just, it would, go a little farther, but it would take a little more time. And then the E-Liter 3K, which is, or actually, no, sorry, reverse that. The Scope has a lot more power, it would just take longer to charge, and the E-Liter 3K has a lot more range, it would take a little longer to charge. And then the final one is something that I think is really smart, I think. A little confusing, so bear with me. But in Splatoon, you can click on the gamepad and you squid jump. And so I think that would be the recovery. And that, cause I don't want to use another weapon, because you kinda already have the splatter shot as main jab, and then the rollers, which is the second class of weapons, that B is B-side, and then B down is the third class, Charger. Obviously now there's sloshers and splatlings, but whatever.
So
this,
when you use this up B, it'll just make you'll see the little path, and it's...
Yeah, it's a very vertical, but with a slight curve jump, kinda like Rosalina's, except with way more, it would, instead of Rosalina's is kinda a diagonal jump, you'd go more vertical.
Yeah, good.
But the special thing about the Inkling is, it has a lot of power and a lot of range, but, you have to recharge your ink, and there'll be a little bing, bing, bing emotion, thing when you're running low in ink, above the character, but you'd also see it on the little tank on the back. So what you have to do is, on the ground, you just hold up and B on the ground, and you just kind of have that animation. If you guys have seen a squid jump, the squid would kind of just like clench up into a little squid and hold it until you bang, fire somewhere. So basically, on the ground, you would just hold it, and you would stay on the ground, and if you release it, you go up in the air like usual, but you have all your ink saved, because as you charge it up, you can, you regenerate ink. That was it. But you can just dodge out of it as well, so you don't have to blast up into the air. So I think it's a cool idea, but I don't know if you can dodge out of it. I mean, obviously, you'd probably have to, I don't know exactly, like, the control input you'd have to do. Like, let go of B first, or dodge out of it, and it would just cancel completely. I don't exactly know. But if that made sense to you, you're a smart person. Because if I could, like, give you an animation, it would make so much more sense. Yeah. But, yeah.
So,
the stage... Oh, sorry.
I have a quick question. So, one big thing that you do in Splatoon is basically drop into the ink, and you're able to maneuver that way quickly through the ink. Is there any way to incorporate that?
I thought about doing that'd be a cool idea, but what I think is maybe using the charger, because the charger leaves a straight line. You can dodge into the charger's ink, and you would just fall into it, and then, jump out. But I think that's a little too much for Smash Bros. Because that's why I originally wanted the Inkling to be. But I think it wouldn't really be of much use because there's no walls in Smash maps for the most part. And that's kind of like the big thing. You could have increased mobility. So it just didn't really work out how I thought it would. So I just kind of relied on the weapons.
Also, like, you throw ink everywhere, so is the stage just stained forever until the game's over? Or, like...
With the charger, it would probably just wash away after a few minutes. But the other ones just probably doesn't leave ink.
Okay.
Or, I don't know. That's why I'm only saying near 100%, because I don't know how they incorporate ink into Smash Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
For the stage, it's Inkopolis. And basically, for the first, 2 minutes, imagine almost exactly like a fighting arcade game where you're in a city street. Like a little street, and there's a whole bunch of crowds. Like, for the first minute, it would be that, but then it would just raise up, and then it would basically be a floating battlefield in front of the tower. But on Saturdays, it's Splatfest.
Oh, that's so cool.
Nothing really changes. It's kind of like Smashville. Nothing really changes, but it's just a Splatfest, and I thought that was a cool idea.
Yeah. I mean, just like in actual Splatoon 2, nothing really changes. Yeah. It's just night, which is awesome. That's really cool. I like that.
And then the music is all the online battle tracks, and maybe they'll put in a Splatoon medley. I don't know the battle tracks because I think they just are titled track 1, track 2, etc.
Side note: a lot of the single player music tracks are good too. Like they'll have some.
Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah, so I'd like to see those too.
But I didn't think it would work for the stage. Like it doesn't work for the atmosphere of a sunny day, or even the flashing lights of Splatfest, so I just said the online battle tracks. Well, probably on Splatfest, they just play the Callie and Marie theme song.
Mm-hmm.
But, the item for the Inkling is I couldn't, say, I don't know, there wouldn't be an item for it. They'd have to make something completely new. But I said, I have 2 ideas. The first one is the Ink Strike, and basically, you grab it and you hold A, and if no one attacks you, for long enough time, it would blast out, and just a giant column of ink would blast down randomly for a few seconds.
So
sorry.
So kind of like the Warp Star, except you don't move.
No, think of it sort of like, do you know the Pokemon Entei?
Yes, yeah.
It would kind of be like that, except you can't control it, like where it goes. It would just appear randomly.
Oh, right.
And it'd be way wider. And then the other weapon is the Kraken item. I don't know what that would be.
Oh, boy.
But basically you just turn into a Kraken and you could, run around and
that sounds like a Final
people.
Smash.
I wanted to do that for the Final Smash, but I think it's not, you wouldn't have much mobility, in the air. So if people could just, for instance, if you're Kirby, you probably would be fine. You wouldn't even get touched by it. So
you could bend the rules. You could just allow it to swim through the air.
I don't know. It was weird. The other one I had an idea for the Final Smash, though, is basically the Shadow Mario thing. It would splat ink, so it'd be a lot more hard to dodge because it would just be a whole bunch of random spots. And, yeah. But that's what I thought it could be.
Okay. Sounds good.
I like the Inkling. It would just be really hard. I want to incorporate swimming through ink, because that's the big thing. Mm-hmm. But I bet that's the struggle they had for Smash Brothers as well. And it's kind of not the game for it.
Well, you could have something like Greninja, where you see the side B, I think it is.
Oh, the shadow.
Yeah, so you could maybe incorporate it like that.
Maybe, but then what's the point in it? I mean, you would just go through ink, and you don't really do damage when you swim out of ink.
I guess I don't know.
But yeah, I know.
Now you said that this is a very likely thing to happen.
I think at least, I bet they could, 100% they considered it, but I think it's very likely they're in the game.
Yeah, I agree, 100% considered it. Now, there's something weird with me, is where this game, Smash Brothers, came out in 2014, so I'm like, oh, that's the cutoff date. Anything after that is for the next Smash. I don't care about deal. That's just the mindset I have. I don't know if that's a good one or a bad one, and maybe I should just adapt because we do have DLC. We have the ability to have this character. I don't know, but because I always think but we need to save newcomers for the next game. Inklings would make so much sense for that game because it's always been like this. I mean, I don't know. That's just what I think, but Inklings, good chance.
I agree with you on that though, but because in this case, honestly, probably because I don't think Cloud really has a chance of joining the next Smash Brothers. I have my doubts even about Ryu, but there's a chance he'd join in. But with character, the Inkling could appear in the next Smash Brothers, and I bet you it wouldn't seem too late. So there's a chance they just won't, if they couldn't really figure out what to do with the Inkling, and they didn't feel rushing a plan, and maybe it's just not coming out to the Inkling's full potential, they could just be saving it for the next game. But at the very least, if it's not appearing now, it will appear in the next Smash Brothers.
Oh, yeah,
that I can guarantee.
Absolutely. But it's not like the series is unknown for adding in things that are from the future. I'm just thinking of one example. Maybe this is the only example, but they had the Yoshi's Woolly World stage in Smash before the game was...
That was scheduling issues, though. It was supposed the rumor is it's supposed to come out before Smash Brothers. And that was a year ago. Makes sense.
But still. I mean, we do have the Inkling trophies already, so there's something.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. I would say that's pretty likely too, but I feel like they might want to focus on already existing characters because there are so many that people are asking for. So maybe a brand new character like that they might just actually save for the next one.
I don't know. They added Cloud, and I don't think many people even requested him. So it's kind of weird they added him in the first place.
When it comes to third-party characters, I feel like that's just basically what Sakurai and the team wants. And obviously fans too, but that's more on them. Third party, I would say that's more on them, and if they want them included. But yeah, okay. That was your second one. Here is my last one. If you know anything about me, you should know this one already. My last character is Banjo-Kazooie from the Banjo-Kazooie series. Oh. We're gonna pretend Soul doesn't exist for the next 5 minutes because of that remark.
No. Wait, let me say something then before you get into your thing. The people I think at Microsoft, I'm not sure if it was a CEO or something, but I know someone who has the authority to say it said that Banjo-Kazooie can be in the next batch. They'll let it 100%. They're all for it. And honestly, I don't know if they have a chance, but I do have a feeling that it's not impossible for Banjo and Kazooie to be in the game. I think it would be just a little weird because I'm afraid they would try to do the new Banjo-Kazooie designs, and they are not preferable. But at the same time, I also feel like they wouldn't because, look what they did with Pac-Man.
Yeah, and Mega Man, too. Mega Man has its...
Mega Man's different. They don't usually use the classic design, but they definitely have not gotten rid of it. Because they use an artwork and stuff for Mega Man 10 and stuff. But I think what you're thinking is, Mega Man in Smash Brothers compared to Mega Man X.
Maybe.
You don't really know what that is. But continue. I didn't mean to distract you.
I don't mind if the Banjo-Kazooie looked like the current version, essentially.
I would. They're ugly.
They are very blocky, but I really don't mind too much.
But it's weird because he looks like a box with fur, like with realistic fur. Like I didn't like his nose and his head shape. Like why have such a weird cartoony design with somewhat realistic graphics? Like I don't like it.
I'm sure they would be. I guess it all depends on whatever agreement they come to, but I'm sure they would design it a little bit differently, a little more to be aligned with the rest of the characters. So yeah, Banjo-Kazooie, I think they would play similar to Duck Hunt, because I mean that makes the most sense. Duck Hunt was kind of like almost a replacement for them. When I first saw Duck Hunt, I was like, oh, Banjo-Kazooie, that's what they're doing here.
Now, would they call them Banjo and Kazooie or Banjo-Kazooie?
Banjo and Kazooie, I think.
Yeah, I think they would do that too.
Banjo-Kazooie is just the name of the game, essentially. Now, the moveset that I have with me right here is actually one that I found on Reddit. So, thank you to whoever.
Second one stolen.
Second one, yes. So actually, you know what? No, we are going to give credit to this one. This is a moveset illustrated by Luigi Lucarelli. There you go.
Sorry.
Absolutely. Here you go. So this is the moveset. It has a lot of basic moves, like rolling is dashing A, and standard A is just banjo punching. But some of the cool ones, like the side smash, is Kazooie's beak thing. Like, doo doo doo.
I actually know what that is.
Yes, that thing.
Oh, this is so cute.
I know.
I'm gonna if I remember, I'm gonna link this in the description.
Yes,
or
yeah,
the comments.
So, on MPL, the Lost Levels website, you can find this on there. We'll include it. So a lot of these moves are kind of standard, just attacks with the characters. But the big ones that stand out, down B is your ground pound, where Kazooie goes straight into the ground. Up B is actually your flying animation when you go off a flight pad. Side B is the thing where it goes... I can only describe these through the sounds.
Imagine Banjo the bird kind of like propelling like through it as an arrow, and Banjo's just running with her.
Mm-hmm. Now, the grab is actually a move from Nuts and Bolts, which a lot of people don't like.
Ew.
For good reason. It's not very much a Banjo game, but the grab here in this moveset shows Kazooie holding I don't want to call it the magic wand, but it's got the Mumbo skull, and it helps you basically grab objects in that world, kind of levitate them. So you would use that to grab. And then the moves are just throwing them forward, left, ground pounding with the grab, or pecking.
Oh, pile drive. The grab down.
Grab down. Oh, yes. Oh, that's actually the move from
cool.
Tooie.
Kazooie's kind of drilling down on the opponent.
Yeah. And then I guess the rest of this just shows the taunts. One is them holding a Jiggy, which is awesome. Another is Mumbo changing him into a washing machine, which is like a funny thing throughout those two games. Which I don't think they ever done a taunt that extensive. Were they?
No, that one would be a really long one.
Yes, it would. Yeah. And then the other one is them playing a Game Boy in similar way to the save select screen in the first game.
Yeah. Wait.
Go ahead.
What's with no, continue with the taunt, unless you're moving on to something else, because I was
going to do the final smash now.
Okay, yeah, talk about the final smash first.
Well, in this moveset, they show Kazooie as the green dragon. That's something you can transform into in Banjo-Tooie. In the overworld, so once you transform here, you can be Dragon Kazooie throughout the entire game, if you wanted to. So that one would just basically shoot out giant fireballs. Now, I think I have a better final smash, and by I mean someone on Smashboards again.
So someone, okay, great idea.
They suggested that you could use the Jinjonator, or however you say that. It's spoilers if you haven't played the first Banjo-Kazooie, but in the final boss, you basically have a giant Jinjo statue. You throw eggs inside, and it turns into a giant Jinjo that knocks Gruntilda off the ledge, and that's how you beat the game. So your final smash could actually be that giant Jinjo. And the Jinjos, if you don't know, are these like little colorful creatures that you collect and save throughout the game. So, yeah, that would be the moveset for that character.
Is the standard B firing eggs or bubbles?
Those are eggs, yeah, not bubbles. Now that I didn't mention that. That's actually really cool. And I think if you hold B, you
toss it backwards, and it bounces. Yeah. Like B, if you just press B, it shoots forward. But if you hold B, it looks like Kazooie throws one backwards, and it kind of bounces out, which is unique. That's a really cool idea.
Even though in the actual game, I'm pretty sure Kazooie just literally like...
Let them have some artistic freedom.
Sure, you're right. Yes, I will allow that. Yeah, but that's the moveset for that. For a stage, I like this idea. You would have Spiral Mountain. Spiral Mountain, if you don't know, is the first area you are in the game, in the first game. It's right before you enter the lair, and it's got, well, the mountain that's a spiral. And there's a bridge connecting the Spiral Mountain to the lair, which is basically the face of Gruntilda in the big rock. So you would fight on this bridge, and occasionally, after a lot of fighting, the bridge would break, forcing you to either the left or the right. On the right, you have the Spiral Mountain, which would just be a little platform for you to fight on. And on the left, you would have the chin of Gruntilda. You would use that as a platform, as well as the top of her witch's hat. So you would fight on that. And occasionally, the bridge, I don't know, Mumbo will show up and repair the bridge with his Mumbo magic.
Yeah, that probably makes sense.
And then you would fight there again. But that would be the little gimmick. Oh, I so wish this could happen. I really wish that I would...
if Super Smash Bros. was in the style of whoever drew this, I would totally want it. I love that art thing they drew, because it does actually kind of look like the nuts and bolts design, but it doesn't look bad. Well, the Kazooie does. I don't like Kazooie's design, but I do like Banjo's design. It looks really cute.
I wonder if
I don't like
this Luigi guy has made any more. It'd be nice to see. For music, Gruntilda's Lair, definitely. Freezeezy Peak. Hailfire Peaks, I think, has a great theme. And the final battle in Banjo-Tooie, that's got a good theme. For an item, I don't think we've had an item like this. The item would be a jigsaw piece. You would pick it up and you would throw it at someone, and if it hits them, they are forced to... Well, originally I wanted them to do like the jiggy animation, but they're not going to make an animation for every single character. Yeah. So what you would do is, when you have what is it called? The SP flag? The
special... Oh, yeah. You hold the little yellow flag, and if you hold it long enough, you get an extra stock or something.
So it would do that animation, except you're holding the jiggy instead. And it forces you in that position for maybe a second or two or three or however long. But it's an item that forces the other player to do something. And you can use that time to hit them, attack them, baseball bat them, or whatever.
It's a weird idea. I didn't say it's a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't know if that's been done. I don't think so.
No.
2 assist trophies. You would have... I guess assuming the final smash was not the Jinjonator thing. A Jinjo, you would use this as trophy. It would pop up. When you collect a Jinjo in the game, it spirals and flies up. So they would do the same thing here, except if you get caught in the path, you'll get hurt a little bit and then thrown off the side. But if you're in the middle of that, it's basically the same as the beetle. Gone.
Okay.
And one more final smash assist trophy. Gruntilda, just like in her final battle in the first game, she would throw out one of those green magic spells, and that follows you, homing missile kind of thing. And does however much damage. So yeah, that is my third character. The actual chances of this happening, before Smash 4 came out, I would have said, like...
Not a chance.
Like 0.2% maybe. That would be my percentage after Smash, and with A, the reveal that there will be DLC, and B, it was actually, I looked it up, Phil Spencer, who is the head of Xbox.
Yeah.
After his comment, I bumped it up to a 5%, which is still really low, but that is something. That is definitely an upgrade. So there's a slight possibility that this could happen. And I would flip, guys. I would flip out. I would not be able to contain myself.
The only thing I bet that if they did, like, let's say they did use this moveset, they would not have Banjo and Kazooie playing a Game Boy. I don't think Microsoft would allow it. I think that's where they draw the line. Even though it makes a lot of sense, I doubt they would let them do it.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be a Game Boy, because they have re-released those games on the Xbox, and they're still doing that, but any like Nintendo logos or anything Nintendo related is removed. So they could still kind of do that.
Alright, getting on to my idea, which is way better. Okay. So my last one is the one that I really want. Like, if I were to choose one of my three choices, I would obviously choose this one, and I do think it has a really high chance of being in the game. Like, maybe not Inkling, but it's Shovel Knight. I have not stopped talking about him, especially as of late, and I really like him, and I think he is so unique. There was an idea that someone had, I remember a while back, but it was kinda, like, convoluted, and I don't think he should be it was like using magic, and it was a cool idea, I think it was a little too far, but I compared him a little bit to Toon Link, in the fact that he is sort of a swordsman, even though he's a shovel, but he has a lot of projectiles, or different specialty things that he does. His standard special would obviously be the flare wand, but I think what would be cool is it would kind of grow in size as it goes over. Obviously, there's be a limit to its size, but it's something that would make it unique, because the flare wand in Shovel Knight is just a giant little bit of fireball. It's nothing that was special, so I think there should be something unique to it. And his down B would be the Phase Locket, which basically grants invincibility for, in Shovel Knight, exactly 8 seconds. I do not think it should be 8 seconds. It should probably be maybe 2. But basically, I think you should be able to do any standard attack. You can't grab, and you can't use your specials, but pretty much anything else is up for grabs. No pun intended.
Sorry, I'm not understanding correctly. There's a move that would grant you invincibility for 2 seconds?
Yes, for 2 seconds. But basically, they don't. You turn in the game. Shovel Knight uses this Phase Locket to turn into this fog, and the foggy shape of him, and he'd be invincible for 8 seconds in Shovel Knight. I'd say like 2 seconds probably, maybe not even. But in Smash Brothers, you would turn into this weird little ghost fog thing, and I say you can't grab opponents, or use your specials, but anything else you're able to do.
Interesting.
It's interesting because it's probably one of the most powerful moves, but I mean it does come at a cost because you really can't combo, and your specials are probably his best things. His up B and his side B are kind of related. In the game you have an item called the Propeller Dagger, and the Propeller Dagger propels you forward. It's really handy, but because Shovel Knight isn't really the best recovery person, he doesn't really have anything that surges him forward or upwards. I think you should just use it up. You press B up and you move forward, but you don't get as much distance as you would press B side in the air. B side in the air gives you the Propeller Dagger as well, and you go way forward horizontally. But on the ground, it turns into something else, which is the Dust Knuckles, which are high damage, low knockback weapons, basically, and you can use them in succession, but you can only use them 4 times in succession before he has to stop for a second. It's a handy. I like the Dust Knuckles anyway. They were my favorite weapon. I think I'd argue that either they or the I think they're called just anchors were my favorite. But it'd be interesting because we've never had a character with two different two different outright recoveries, because his side beat in the air would be the propeller dagger, which is meant to be a recovery, nothing else, because otherwise it would be his normal B-side. His stage, I debated a lot on what would work, because Shovel Knight has a whole bunch of different areas, but I think the best one would be the flying machine from Propeller Knight's stage. It would look really cool. The music, a lot of the music would fit, because I originally wanted to do the Explodatorium, which is, it just doesn't work. It's very dark, and it might be neon colored, but I don't think the music would work for it. So, the flying machine works. And basically, you would be on the top of it, or I said maybe the top of it, or maybe you'd just be in a component of it, but I think the top of it makes more sense. And, on it, Shovel Knight would come in at Propeller Knight would come in at points, and he'd laugh at you, and then he would launch cannonballs through the, stage, which actually does happen. He throws, a ship comes in the background, and they would launch a whole bunch of cannonballs to fire down and break apart parts of the stage. I think it's a cool idea. It's a little simple, but it would work, and it would look really nice too. But, because, the background, I know this might be, a stretch, but the background at point would change, and, basically, you would just see different little parts of the stage right below you, or maybe it would just be you could see the castle in the distance, because that works too.
Now, would this all be pixelated like it is in the game? 8-bit?
That's what I don't know, because...
Is it 8-bit or 16-bit? I can't remember.
I think it's 8-bit.
It's 8-bit, okay.
I think it counts at 8-bit. But, because you wouldn't really be able to... It would be weird. It would be that weird 3D, but everything's an 8-bit thing that they kind of do for, 75 meters. And I don't like that. But I really highly doubt they're gonna do, full 3D stuff.
I don't...
Especially because, considering what they're doing with the Amiibo, Yacht Club game has to deal with everything. Nintendo's basically just the grunt work, which is funny.
I don't know. I think that would, I don't want to go into this just yet, but, this Shovel Knight just makes so much sense. And I think it would look so beautiful if it was 8-bit. Mm-hmm. I don't know how it would look with 3D characters against 8-bit, but...
Well... That's what I wanted to do is Shovel Knight would be a 3D model, so it would just make sense to make him make that thing 3D. I'm gonna actually link you. I'm gonna try and find the flying machine battle really quickly, because it's like a sunset, and it's so, I mean, maybe they could do more with it, because I think it is just a sunset background, and then the ship comes in. Here it is, but. The sky they did is so pretty, so cool. I love it. That's the battle. And then you can also see the cannonballs coming through. I like the idea of it, and it looks interesting, but I think they have to add a little more if I wanted it in the game. But
actually, you know what? They did the F-Zero track on 3DS, and I think that worked out pretty well.
That's true.
That was moving, though, but it's still... I mean, this one would be moving too. I mean, I'm sure. Does in the game do the clouds move or anything, or is it just
no?
Okay,
it's still, but that'd be cool if they could move.
I mean, they do change things like Super Mario Maker. That's not exactly how it is in that game, so they could change it here too.
I would not want it to be a flat one, though. I do not want a flat stage. But that's something they probably do. I know that's more likely.
If it looks like this, I would assume it is.
Yeah. The tracks I chose are very specific to Shovel Knight, but, I can explain them. Obviously the first one is the stage, the music title, High Above the Land, which is the flying machine theme. You'd also have the theme, the spin controller, but exclusively a remix. You'd have the main theme, both the original and the remix, a Shovel Knight medley, but the 8-bit version. An example is, Mega Man, I think they have this too. They have, a medley. They have I think it's a Mega Man 2 medley, and they have the same exact medley using the original music. I don't think they should do that. I think they should just keep with the 8-bit, especially if they were doing the flat theme. But it's cool. And the other two ones are the Black Knight battle theme, because it's a good battle theme. And the one that was, composed by one of I think she's not a Mega Man composer anymore, but since, her name was, I have it right here, Manami Matsume. she did 1,000 Leagues Below, which might not work for this, but this was the Iron Whale theme, which is the stage of Treasure Knight. And the other one that would I like is the Explodatorium theme, which is called Flowers of Antimony. Also, that's the one also done by Manami Matsume, that's why I brought it up. But they're both really good songs. I think 1,000 Leagues Below matches better, but yeah, those are the tracks I chose. They're all really good. I especially like the idea of a Shovel Knight medley. I think first of all, the composer who does it is a really good composer. He does, I think it's Grant Kirk. No, that's stupid. Jake Kaufman. Why did I say Grant Kirk? Jake Kaufman, he does a lot of indie work anyway, but his music is really good, so I think it'd be fun if he could make a medley. The items, he only has one item, and it's called the War Horn. The War Horn, similar to the Dust Knuckles, Flare Wand, Propeller Dagger, and Phase Locket, is a item, like a relic in the game. And basically, you hold it, and a radius blast would occur of air and stuff. And I think it would just work just like that. It would be simple, it'd keep you steady for a second. It's nice. Simple attack. But, yeah, there's also an assist trophy, and this was gonna be Shovel Knight's recovery originally, but it'd just be so hard to do and require such timing, it just wouldn't work. Is, in the final battle, you have to use Shield
Spoilers,
Knight at,
by the way.
It doesn't matter. Well, I'm not gonna say who the boss is. Oh yeah, wait. Oh, it is kinda spoilers. Oh, dang it. Shield Knight returns, boom. Shield Knight will jump into the air, by the way, this took forever to figure out, and you had to shovel drop, which, by the way, would be his down air, but you'd have to shovel drop to use her as a bounce, and bounce off her shield as she jump in the air, like she's this giant shield, and you shovel drop, you jump in the air, shovel drop onto it, and you could get some air. Basically, she would, if your opponent is in the air, she jumps near them, and you don't have to shovel drop because it would be for any character since it's an assist trophy. She would jump up, and you could use her as a platform, and you could grab onto her, you can roll, she jumps up in the air for about 3 seconds, but when she falls, you fall as well. Like, you don't get to, it's not a falling platform or anything, so you have to time it quickly, but I wanted to do that for Shovel Knight, because then they incorporate you shovel drop off her shield, but I don't know how that would work. You press up B, and would she appear below you? But when you use a recovery move, it always cancels your animation, and you're just free falling once it's done. So would it not let you free fall? Like, it's such a, it wouldn't work. It's a good idea in theory, cause it matches him perfectly. I just think using the propeller dagger just makes way more sense. And the final thing is his final smash. I like this idea a lot, especially because of, Plague of Shadows. You literally do this kind of, you dance, Plague Knight, that's actually a little theme in the game, in Plague of Shadows, is dance. And Shovel Knight does not have a dancing animation, and I don't think he will in this. But basically, there are something called the Trouples, and I think the Trouples are the funniest thing. They're weird looking. There's the Trouple King, which is ginormous and weird, and I think they should do a 3D model of this. But basically what would happen is, the background of the, like, right behind, or, no, maybe it could be a bit, but right behind the stage, like, or whatever, it would fill up with water, but it's just graphics, so there's no water physics. It would fill up with water until right around stage level, and the Trouple King would slam down, and a whole bunch of Trouples would appear, and they'd do their dance. And during this, it'd pretty much be exactly like Peach's, except Peach's puts enemies to sleep. This stuns the opponents, and I'm not sure if the Ichor would appear, which is healing stuff, because each time the Trouble King slams down, it does damage to them. There's no knockback, so it's just like Fox's lasers, because they're stunned too. It'd just be simpler. But I don't know if it would be too much better than Peach's, because I kind of want it to be just, even with skill, just it works slightly different. Because Peach's, what happens is she makes all the opponents fall asleep and a whole bunch of Peaches appear and she can heal herself. This one, since it adds damage to them, I think there shouldn't be any healing stuff. But, you guys probably don't know what that is, but I would just search up Trouple, I think it's Trouple dance on YouTube, and then you can find it. And then it would probably make perfect sense too, hopefully.
So chances of the character actually being in the game?
My idea of the character, I think parts of it will. For this, honestly, I know it's a huge chance, but like 90%.
90%?
I think
that's
with the amiibo.
That's true.
And because that amiibo was kind of like the floodgates on everyone clamoring for him to be in the game. But I was the original one. I think he was the one I put down for in the ballot first, was Shovel Knight. It's just, he's my character, and I love him so much. And having him in Smash Brothers would make my day. I've explained why he means a lot to me, like, if he was in the game, that means I took part in that. Like,
that is a cool idea.
The teeniest, tiniest little bit drop. The only thing I did was put money into it and appear during meetings, and one of their meetings, 3 of the meetings. I remember I drank tea during them. I had this really good tea. It was really good. But if that were to happen, that would be so unbelievably amazing. I could not breathe if that were to happen. And I think a lot of his moves will be it. I honestly think the beatdown will be the phase locket, and I think the dust knuckles or the propeller dagger will be his B-side. I don't think they'll do the in-air difference, but I think it was a cool idea. And probably the flare wand will be his B. Either that or they'll do the throwing anchor, that was what it was called. It wasn't just called anchor. You get this anchor that goes up in the air for a couple seconds and falls back down in this little arc.
Yeah, so
yeah.
So you are very high up on that. I don't know if I'm 90%. I'm a little lower than that, but man, Shovel Knight is just, the character makes so much sense. Like, the character itself is just a very unique character, and looks like someone who would fit right in with everyone else in the Smash roster. Not only that, but Shovel Knight has a huge arsenal of moves and different unique abilities that would totally make sense in his moveset. And you already went over what would probably work best. And I don't know, it's got such great music and so many possibilities for cool stages, and everything about this character and what it brings makes so much sense. The only problem is that Shovel Knight is not Nintendo's. That's basically the only problem. That makes me think it has a lower chance. But other than that...
But, I mean, we've had Cloud and Ryu.
I know, at this
stuff.
point, it's still definitely a factor, but it means a lot. It's a lot...
I will go...
It's not as hard anymore, I would say.
I will go one step further and say, if it does go well in Smash Brothers, maybe we'll never hear about it because they probably would say no, but I'm gonna bet that Nintendo offered to put them Yacht Club Games as a second-party character. Or as a second-party company, kind of like a Game Freak.
Or Retro Studios,
how they make,
or what have you. Or you mean...
Well, not even Retro Studios. We have Retro Studios, yeah.
You mean
No.
Okay.
I think they'll do, they'll basically be a Retro Studios in position. Or Game Freak, which I think... I don't know if Game Freak technically is, but I know they have the rights to Pokemon only on Nintendo consoles. But I honestly think they'll at least get approached. Yacht Club Games will get approached by Nintendo, because there are 5 people in that place, though, and they made Shovel Knight, and it would be even bigger for them, because I think it was 5 people who worked on that game, and it would be in Smash Brothers. That would be, I was gonna use the word demonstrably, but I don't think that's a word, and even still, I think it's not the word to use, but I'm gonna say it anyway, demonstrably important to this. It would be huge. I think it would have... I really, 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 really want him to be in the game, and I know I'm really not providing anything new, and I'm just saying how much I want him to be in the game and how important he is, but I want him so badly. Oh, and his alternate costumes, I think some of them should be the armor, but I think some of them should be themed off of the knights, specifically Polar Knight and King Knight, because they're kind of... Polar Knight is an old friend of Shovel Knight, but it's never actually explained. And King Knight is kind of I'm trying to think of a comparison to him, but think of him as kind of like the Doc Ock, from Spider-Man of Shovel Knight, because he's kind of like the first one you battle for the most part, and of all the characters, I think he seems to be most well-known, apart from, the most well-known boss. I don't think many other people think of the other ones, especially Treasure Knight or Mole Knight. Whenever I mention them, nobody knows what I'm talking about. But, yeah, that's all. Shovel Knight.
Yeah, okay, so those were our 3 hopes and wants. I don't know, Soul, if you wanted to mention any more, but for people that I actually think will be picked, I, unfortunately, maybe not so, don't get all crazy, but unfortunately I think Wolf will be picked, and not
that was my prediction too.
Wolf is not a bad character, it's just I feel like we could be asking for someone a little more unique than Wolf. I mean, I know that Wolf is not the same as Fox and Falco, but he is decently similar, and I feel like we could have someone a little bit different than that.
Nowadays, Wolf is probably one of the only Brawl characters I really, really like playing as. Like, now, I used to be a really big Falco player, but I was never good. Wolf is very... I don't know how to describe him in comparison to Fox, because I would say he's like, kind of just like a slightly slower, slightly stronger, but he works with... He's kind of like the finesse version of Fox. Even though Fox requires a whole bunch of finesse. It's just something about him is slightly more unique, and I really think he's coming back. Like, I did not expect him to be in the original roster, and I was right, he was not in the original roster. Lucas wasn't either, as I bet. I don't remember who the third one was. Oh, Ike. I did not expect him to be in the roster, and he was. But Lucas came back, so that all that leaves is really Roy, because we all know Pokemon Trainer is not returning.
Yeah.
But my other prediction is Snake, which I don't think I mentioned on the podcast, but I was talking to SZ before this, and I said, there's a high chance that he'll be a fighter ballot character. I do not think they're adding, him on like Sakurai's own idea. I think they're only adding him if there's public outcry for it. And since we've had, if let's say Wolf were to come back, that's almost all the Brawl characters cut, not in the original roster in the game, except for, I think, Pokemon Trainer.
Yeah. And
which
not including Ice Climbers.
Oh, and Ice Climbers. Boo! Do you know how badly I want the Ice Climbers back? Because I like them. I never liked playing as them, but cutting them out is like, aside from, Pichu, pretty much any character from Melee and, of course, Smash 64, but Melee, you can't get rid of. They're kind of staple characters for the Smash Brothers series. And I would argue a lot of the Brawl characters as well, like King Dedede and Meta Knight and Diddy Kong.
Now, when we first found out that Ice Climbers were not going to be in, I
didn't believe it. I thought he was lying. I 100% I was like, no, they're lying. They're just gonna reveal them later. And then when they had the DLC, I was like, oh, no, they're just add them as DLC, but they're not adding them as DLC, I believe. They, like, made an announcement.
See, I'm in the same camp, though, like, where you can't just take away Ice Climbers. I didn't play with them or anything, but I'm like, yeah, you can't take them. They're the Ice Climbers. And that was the reason. But not too long ago, I went back to Brawl and I played as them. Like, they're actually pretty unique. I could see myself playing as them. They're actually a cool character. So it is disappointing that they're not in. But that also leads me into another character that kind of has a chance. Snake. He also is pretty unique.
Yeah.
I personally don't like playing as him, but he does have
I don't like playing as him either.
A unique moveset, and people are asking for him. Do we think that's actually a thing that might happen? Will he return?
I mean, I don't know.
I know that.
I said, wait, did I even say his name? I mentioned that he was a fan suggested character, but I don't even think I mentioned the word Snake. If I did, okay, but if I didn't, I'm stupid. But Snake, a lot of people have suggested him, and for the fighter ballot, and I think he will be one of the characters to return. I don't know. There's a definite chance he's returning because of the fighter ballot, and like I said, Wolf coming back. He'd be the last one from Brawl, except for excluding the Ice Climbers and Pokemon Trainer. They kind of already stuck in with Charizard, so he'd be the last one. And I'm 50-50 on it. I don't want him in the game, but considering how much people talk about him, like, I'd argue he's probably nowadays the next to Shovel Knight and Inkling, he's the character people talk about the most. Maybe even more than Shovel Knight. Inkling, not so much. I think Inkling's kind of like a given on everyone's list. I don't think many people doubt they have a chance of not coming into Smash Brothers. I have some doubt, but it's only just because they might not figure out how to work an Inkling into the game. But other than that, I'm all for it.
Yeah, also, Snake is one of the few characters where I feel he just doesn't really fit in. Like, he just feels out of place. Something's not right when I see Snake in there.
He's a very realistic character.
Which is probably, that's the thing. And I know that when they add these characters, they usually add them in a way that fits with the style of the game. Like, even characters like Mario, they will change just slightly so it fits with everyone else. Like, Brawl had this look, and this new one has this look, and they all adapt to that. I don't think they did that with Snake. Like, they just said, this is how he looks, and that could just be, like, because he's third party, this is how they want him portrayed, whatever. But, yeah, he always just felt out of place.
I know I mentioned it, I know I mentioned already Shovel Knight and stuff, and I keep talking about him, but I just searched up, like, Shovel Knight moveset, and someone had a really cool idea where, the Dream I don't exactly know how it would work, but the final smash is in Shovel Knight. There's a little mini game almost called Catch Her, where it's just a dream he has, and it's Shovel Knight falling from the sky, or Shield Knight falling from the sky, and you have to catch her. I like that idea a lot. I don't know what it would do, like what you catch her and what happens. It just says final smash, catch her, and it's Shovel Knight reaching for her. But the moveset that they have was similar to mine, actually. The up B is the propeller dagger, except he's propelling forward, but since it's just a screen cap, I guess maybe they'd change it. The side B is the Dust Knuckles. The B is the Chaos Spear, which is actually, I love that item. It's basically a bouncy ball, and it just wreaks havoc for a while. And the down B is the War Horn, which, I mean, kind of works, but I like the idea of the Phase Locket more. I like having him to have some sort of defense. And his costumes, I don't know why there's only 6, but there's the blue one, which is the standard, a green one, a red one, a Black Knight costume, the gold one, and a purple one, which I don't know why everyone's so excited about that. And the stage is the Tower of Fate, which is the last stage, which is also a cool idea because maybe it would black out and you can only see the silhouettes of stuff, and you could fall through holes and whatever. But I like my ideas, pretty much all of them, more.
Yeah, as someone who hasn't finished Shovel Knight, which I totally should, some of that stuff goes over my head, but it sounds really cool. Now, before we move on to news and community and move away from the main topic, I wanted to go over 2 different things really quickly. If you didn't know, we're actually doing this podcast because we are going to have some sort of Smash Direct this month. It's currently December 2015. Sometime this month we're going to get something about the DLC. Question, do you think we're going to get every single piece of DLC announced in this Direct?
Yes.
I agree.
Well, they said it's the last one, so yeah.
It's the last Direct, but they could still reveal little things here and there. I do think, yeah, this Direct will know everything.
I think what they'll do is they'll announce the characters, but they're not going to give details.
They're not going to say further out, I would say. Because I do think we'll have some footage of, like, different characters are more developed than others.
What they'll probably do is they'll show some, probably the later ones, like how they originally showed Mewtwo. They just showed his model. That was it. And they didn't even show it in game. It was just kind of like, they cut it out, pasted it onto a black background. That's all we saw of Mewtwo. Mm-hmm. I think we'll probably see that, but I think we're going to see at least one more character, probably only Wolf, in action, aside from Cloud. They're probably going to explain Cloud. But it's going to be, they're going to show 2 characters in action in full. And I bet you they'll maybe, like, show the artwork for 2 more characters, and then maybe show the model for, like, at the end of be like, that's not all. 1 more character is going to be it, and it's, oh my gosh, it's Waluigi or something.
So 5 characters. You think 5 characters?
I want to say 5, but when I say it, it sounds so, like, much. Like, I sound like I'm requesting for so much. So, I say it's going to be 3 or 5. I don't think they're going to do 4. It just doesn't work with their format usually. I think it's 3 or 5.
I think everything you just said I completely agree with. The way like they'll reveal it and how many, all that. I'm on board with that. So the last thing I wanted to do, and this will be a really quick lightning round. I'm going to name off some characters, some popular characters, and I want you to say
boo
either
or yay.
In terms of what though? Do you want to say you personally or your actual?
If they're going to get in the game.
So which one do you want?
I'll say boo if I don't think they're getting in the game, or yay if they are, and I'll just say meh if there's a slight chance.
All right, Isaac.
Boo. I don't see it. What? I still don't understand why people are so hung up on
Yeah,
it.
boo for me too. We already talked about Snake. King K. Rool.
Meh.
I'll say meh too. Chibi Robo.
Boo.
Boo as well. Yeah. Impa.
Boo.
Boo. I don't know why people.
Yeah, they're not adding another Zelda character, at least right now.
Ooh, this one, Shantae.
I know it's a thing. I know people want it, but I'm gonna say boo.
I'm gonna say boo too. Rayman.
Nah.
I say boo. I don't think that's happening. Professor Layton. Boo. Bandana D. Boo. I don't. Can someone explain to me why they really want Bandana D? I don't get it at all.
In Kirby's Return of Dreamland, I guess they kind of established the 4-player setup for games. It was Kirby, King Dedede, second player, third player, Meta Knight, and then fourth one's Bandana D. So I guess they kind of just want to complete it. But it's a Waddle Dee in a band. It just doesn't work.
This is so. That's the other thing. Personality. Sakurai has said that personality is a big thing in picking characters, and I don't see it with Bandana D.
He's just cute, and you just make little crying faces sometimes, and that's pretty much all he can do.
Okay, Crystal.
Oh, boo! I think they've literally said they're not doing anything with Crystal anymore.
I think they said she's not appearing in the new Star Fox. I don't know about anything anymore.
Boo! She's been buried for a while.
Okay, a few more. Ridley. Boo.
Boo! It's not happening.
Waluigi. Boo.
Boo! They said he's not going to be in this game.
Tetra.
Oh
Boo.
gosh, I'm actually going between meh and yay.
Really?
Like, I didn't think about it before, but I really do like the character of Tetra, and I think what they could do, I know obviously that. Oh no, actually, boo, because the idea I want is I've always had this idea, but I think this is a thing that people have. But Zelda turns into Sheik. Even though I think Sheik and Zelda are going to forever be separate characters, it would be Toon Zelda turning into Tetra. So they would be different characters. Maybe Toon Zelda would be a clone of Zelda, but Sheik and Tetra are completely different characters. I've always liked that idea, and I know it would probably never happen, especially now, but I like that. I like that could happen. But boo, since that my idea would never work in this game.
Okay, 3 more. Paper Mario.
Boo.
I say nah. That's
not this
cool.
game. They have so many Mario characters.
They do.
That was one of the big complaints too.
Bayonetta. Boo. Takamaru.
Oh, that's the last one. Oh no, boo, because he's not appearing in this game, but he was planned to be in this game.
I actually have one more because I totally forgot. I could have totally used this for one of my 3 characters, but I did an article on Captain Toad in Smash. Captain Toad? Or Toad?
Boo.
I say meh.
For one reason.
Uh-oh.
Captain Toad can't jump. That's his big thing. He can't jump. I don't think they'd ever do that for, like, his main gimmick that differs from Mario game is he can't jump.
I completely forgot about that.
It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. So that's why I saw that and was going to comment, but I was
what did I
lazy, so I didn't say anything.
I did not put that into
his up B you said was like one of those propeller platforms that we do normally blow on in Super Mario.
Oh yeah.
World.
But that's the thing. Captain Toad also is in place of the actual Toad, which the actual Toad can totally jump. Like whatever.
But he can't. He has his bag. That's his thing. If you gotta either have Toad or Captain Toad.
Oh, brother. And then he can... His backpack now has some jets. He doesn't jump, he just soars.
That would be cool.
There you go.
I'd be down for that.
There you go.
Like little jets pop out of it. If that were to happen, I'd actually be for it.
All right.
Or like a little propeller, like one of those little propellers pop out of his bag. No, just a little propeller thing like pops out of the top of the bag.
That's so cute. That's nice.
Yeah, exactly why I said it's better.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, okay. Those are all our Smash hopes and predictions. I can't believe we talked about it for so long, but just the 2 of us. But yeah, we're really excited about it. We hope we're right on some of it.
I'm right.
Obviously.
Halucha for sure is going to be in it.
But yeah, leave us your comments, your thoughts in the comments, obviously. And we're going to move into some news and community. Which actually, there's a lot of Splatoon in this news and community.
Yay!
First up, I'll just quickly mention that Splatoon won an award at the Video Game Awards, which happened this last Thursday, for Best Multiplayer. Which is really surprising because there were a lot of multiplayer games this year.
I do not care about the Game Awards. I hate those things. I've always hated, like, award show. A lot of them just make me upset, especially with, like, sports, like the ones that they kind of, like, generate towards a younger audience. Like, it just doesn't work. They never work for me. They always seem uninteresting, and I feel like they're unofficial anyway, so who cares?
You know what? I agree. And the only reason I had it on was because there were world premieres, so they would announce stuff here and there. Mm-hmm. But they did a good job this year. They had, they had some interesting people come up, talk a little bit. They even had an Iwata tribute, which was really nice.
I know, this is such an unpopular opinion, but I'm like, am I the only one who's like, get over it? Like, they had one, I think they had another one. Is this the third one? Like, I feel like it was so out of place during it too. And they said they were having, I think, an announcement or something at the for their Nintendo part, and I get it. It's not me being butthurt, like, oh, I didn't get no, Legend of Zelda Wii U. But it was so out of place, and as a person who just, I get over things somewhat quickly. There's some things I don't, but it was like, I got it. He's gone. Like, if we're gonna keep holding on to it, it just, whatever. I don't feel anything. Most people, sorry, I know, but most people who do feel things, I do not understand, like, this weird, I guess, like, empathetic, but, like, people try to feel sympathetic with it. Like, you didn't experience this, so I don't see you guys should be getting so worked up over something that affects you. Not at all. But I understand, obviously, there's a line, but having a, like, 4-minute, like, slideshow is just, like, I would be so uncomfortable. If I was in that audience, I'd just be sweating and, like, shifting.
I get where you're coming from with that, but I feel like because it happened this year and because this is one of, like, the major gaming, like, that's events, true. They would mention.
I think
after
one of them. Oh, sorry.
Then I think that's too much. Then it is time. Like, okay.
No, sorry.
Go ahead.
I've been able to real. Okay. I think mainly one of the reasons why I'm saying that is because I don't take it seriously, and I don't take this award show seriously in the slightest anyway.
Okay.
So
it's kind of almost like
maybe
a joke for you.
Not a joke. No, I would never say that. It just feels out of place.
Okay.
Why is it?
Sorry,
the award show's a joke. The award show's a joke. Shaquille O'Neal, I think it was, like, who cares?
Yeah.
Bye. You're really tall, and, like, it was kind of funny seeing some of the people behind him, but that was it.
Yeah, okay, I could see that. But yeah, well, those things happen. Splatoon won an award. Cool. Speaking of Splatoon, though, today is the Splatfest. Can you tell me what the things are? Isn't it like pizzas?
Okay, it's burgers versus pizza, but the European one made me laugh. So it made me have a hearty laugh because it's so one-sided, and it's on my side too. It was pizza with pineapples or pizza without, and I feel like the mass majority of the world, like even like India, who is vegetarian, I think like most of the people there are vegetarian. No, they are not using. Nobody likes pineapples on pizza.
Hey, I'm
okay.
not saying that I like them, but
yeah,
I don't mind.
As he said, he's okay with them, but I feel like most people would choose Marie. Go Marie. She's the one who doesn't want pineapples on pizza because ugh. But I feel like they'd be like super like kid friendly. They'd be like, I just prefer not to have pineapples on my pizza. But I would just be like, I grabbed this pizza. I was like, what do you think you're doing? I don't even like I like pineapple kind of, but I don't even like having it on the pizza because you take it off and there's pineapple juice and it just doesn't work.
That's weird. Yeah, but it does sound incredibly one-sided. Like, there are people who like it, but as a competition, like, you're going to lose. I'm pretty sure.
The European ones are so weird.
Like, the burgers versus pizza makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, especially because it's America. They're the two biggest things in America. But, like, the one that always sticks out to me, well, we've had one weird one too. It was roller coasters versus water parks, but I think it was during the summer, so that works. But this one, for the European one, was like North Pole versus South Pole. I'm like, who has an opinion? No one has an opinion on that. It's kind of like, I guess which ones do you prefer, like, in the area? Because I think, like, penguins are in the south and polar bears are in the north.
There you go.
So it's kind of, but why not put that? Just say penguins versus polar bears, and then they could have, like, there's some witty commentary versus, like, it's North Pole versus South Pole. Like, I don't understand the European Splatfests.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
Yeah, usually it's America that's weird, but for once Europe's weird.
So one more thing on Splatoon, the Mahi Mahi Resort stage was released on...
I haven't played it.
Thursday? Friday? I haven't played it either. That one looks terrifying, though, because I don't want to...
Oh my gosh, I've seen people play it, and there's more platforms than I thought there was, like, before the water rises, but even still, I'm like, I'm anxiously, like, watching people just jump over the water. That's gonna be... First of all, I want to play, Rainmaker. I want to play any of the ranked battle stages because that stage seems like a nightmare for ranked battle. Yeah. Like Rainmaker, for those of you who played it, for those of you who played it on there, because I bet it's already happened so far, you probably hate it, and I would totally understand it because that seems stressful.
Yeah, it's kind of bad that we're talking about it. We haven't played it, but it's. I'm trying to imagine doing turf war. Like, should I even bother spraying?
Yeah.
Doing down there, like, before the water comes in?
You wouldn't be able to. If you spray ink and water, it just dissipates.
Wait, is there, like, a grate down there and it's very low water? How does it work? Because...
Basically, there's a whole bunch of platforms, and there's a whole bunch of platforms under the water. I think it's either the water... No, actually, technically, the water level... lowers, and the floating platforms you're on lower down, and so the other platforms, I don't exactly know actually, but it's basically some platforms appear from the water, and the stage expands, or vice versa, something like that.
Yeah, I had a reverse. I thought you had a normal stage, and then water fills in and removes stage platforms.
No, because then it would just destroy the ink.
That's what I was thinking, like, what's the point? Okay, that makes sense. Moving on, Triforce Heroes got an update to 2.0 with free DLC, actually. So you got the Den of Trials, which has 40 levels. Oh, I played it. It's actually the last final floor is actually really, really hard, at least for me, playing by myself. But yeah, definitely check that out. Also, you get Linebeck's uniform and the Fierce... Deity, I can't ever say this word. Deity, whatever. Armor. Very, 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 very cool. And Super Mario Maker, new costume based on Paper Jam. Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. 3 characters in one. Meh. I actually haven't gotten any of those event course costumes. I just haven't turned on the game yet.
I haven't played it in so long. I haven't been motivated to play it.
I haven't either. I hope they don't go away.
I don't think so. I don't think they do.
I hope they would.
That'd be weird.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it for news and community. Sol, do you have anything you want to share? What you've been doing this last week?
I got Pokemon Picross and then I shelled out $35 so it wouldn't be free to play. I know, but it has a lot of content, and I did it early on, so it wasn't like I wasted my money halfway through. I'm a big fan of Picross games. I think one of the first like DS games I played was the Picross game. I love it. It's so fun. Oh gosh.
I'm still learning what Picross is at the moment.
And I don't blame him. Like, I know Aziz generally just doesn't understand things, and usually it's just his intelligence. But Picross is it's so easy, like, to me, because it comes almost second nature to me now. I'm not amazing at it or anything, but, like, I don't even have to question it, except for there's this new mode called Mega Block Mode, which I have absolutely no idea what they're talking about, and I just chose to not play it. Because it's just a remix of the levels you've already played, so it doesn't really matter to me, I think. But I played Pokemon Picross, and it's super fun, and I just got Whimsicott. No, I didn't, but I got Whimsicott today, and I just mentioned how much I love Whimsicott. So yeah, hooray. What else have I been doing? I did something else. In my art class, we did something weird where we were talking about the left brain, right brain, and the left brain is very logic and calculating and stuff like that, and the right brain is very, free thinking and artsy and stuff like that. And I don't buy all of it, but she was talking about how, like the reason why a lot of our drawings don't look good is because our left brain gets in the way. I don't believe all of that, because obviously it has some amount of skill. But what she was saying, a lot of it did work. Like, she was talking about, how there was this one part where she was like, stop looking at first of all, draw this picture upside down. And we did. I drew this picture upside down. And she said, don't look, it was all lines, of course, but it was like a line piece of this man. She was like, do not look at these as shapes, or like figures. Don't look at this as a blanket over his legs. Look at this as lines and a whole bunch of curves. And it really did work. And what I did so far, I didn't even get to his face, but it looked not near identical. Actually, I would say, if you looked at it, and maybe you'd see close parts where it wouldn't, but it did look extremely similar to it, and I was very proud. We also did one called Drawing on Her Head, where basically I put a piece of paper and I tried to draw on it, and she was like, maybe not so much this exercise in general, but if you exercise the right side of your brain, you probably could do this better. Which sounded like she was making me, but no, she was saying it's just kind of how it works. And it was, I guess I'm a very left brain person. I'm very calculating, and I don't I get into my head about things, and yeah, and I like words, which, your left brain can, I think actually, the left brain and right brain, they have this interesting thing where, the right brain because it's visual, the right brain interprets, the things, but you speak through your left brain, but your right brain interprets language, which is written language and spoken language, it interprets it, which is very interesting. But psychology interested me, so it was just a fun thing to talk about. But that's all I've been doing.
See, psychology interests me as well, but
not as a career, please.
Well, not as a career, but it's just like when you're talking about the brain is so complex. I don't know. I'm no expert.
We know nothing about the brain.
When someone says, "Oh, this is how the brain works," I'm like, "Oh, that's great. You know everything." Apparently, I don't know about that.
The brain is nothing. We know absolutely nothing about the brain. We know kind of how it works, but we have no idea why it works. Or we know what happens, but we don't know why it happens. For instance, we know that our left brain and right brain are very separate, except for one little thing that connects it that we couldn't figure out the name of. But we do not understand half of the stuff that our brain does, because it's just weird.
Yeah. My brain is starting to hurt thinking about it. Just kidding.
Yay!
For me, I don't know if anyone noticed, but I did get a new microphone. I actually got the same one that Staryu has, so...
Oh, you have the same one as me, then? The blue snowball? Oh no, he got a blue Yeti, right?
I used to have the snowball. Now I have the Yeti, which hopefully is that you can hear some improvement here. But yeah,
I think it's almost the 1 year anniversary of me having this microphone, because Christmas is coming up and I got it on Christmas. So, hey,
time for an upgrade.
Not really, I'm broke. Oh. Actually, no, I'm not. I just bought a villager.
No.
I did. I bought a villager amiibo and a Bowser Jr. amiibo, and they're coming in soon. And I shelled out $35 for a Picross game. $35 when you can buy a Picross game for $5 on the eShop, made by the same developer. I spent $35 on that game. You know how hardcore I am, and you know I'm not gonna finish it. We all know I'm not going to finish it. I still haven't finished Super Mystery Dungeon. I did the entire game, but I'm only halfway through collecting all the Pokemon, and I said I was gonna finish it, but then I got lazy.
Oh my gosh.
So, I'm pathetic. I am terrible. Do not be me. Be wise with your money. I still haven't gotten a job.
Let's work on that before we buy any more amiibos.
I have a friend who keeps telling me, yo, there's an opening, or we're super understaffed. I just have to ask my manager, hey, is it cool? Are we actually hiring, or are we just understaffed? And it could be either one. But she's like, well, the manager I actually talked to never comes in, so I have nothing to, I can't do it. And there's another place where I could get a job, but I really don't want to work there, because it's the place I want to work at is Panera. That's okay with me. No, that job didn't go through. But the one I want to work at, the one I could get a job at is, the Chinese restaurant, and I'm okay with it, but I think I explained this the first time. I don't want to be at a job where I just sit at a counter, because I don't like sitting still. I like to fidget and stuff. So that's a lot of work a lot of effort for not doing much work.
Well, I hope you find something soon. And did you... No, we talked about that last week. That no, you did not. You don't have, like, the permit yet or anything.
No, I'm not doing driving. Yeah, I've explained all that.
So yeah, for me, this microphone, I don't know nothing really happened this week. I've been playing more Ace Attorney, which I can't talk about unless I spoil things.
Yeah, please don't.
Yeah. And me, Darkboo, and Staryu. We've tried playing Mario Party 6 online, and it worked flawlessly.
Oh, jeez. Really?
Yeah, well, not flawlessly.
I have to join in on that because you know that I'm a very big fan. I know, I'm a big fan of Mario Party 6.
Are you like Timmy Good? Like, do you know every in and out of this game?
I'm awful at Mario Party. I'm the worst. I can tell you right now I will be 4th place. Except if I'm a jerk. And I am, so...
Yeah, so we played a 50-turn game on EGAT's Garage, and oh my gosh, Death Trap Central. That's one of the things I love and hate about Mario Party 6 is that you can have a line of orb traps it's just like I said, Death Central. You enter that zone and you're probably a goner unless you've got some spaces of your own. By the end of the game, there's like 3 blue spaces left. Oh my gosh, Mario Party 6 is one of my favorites, so I'm really happy that it's working online and I get to play with people. Yeah. I think that's it for me. So we're going to get into our ending information.
Yay.
You can subscribe and rate to us on iTunes, which, by the way, some people have been doing that. I'm so happy for. So I'm going to give a shout out to Poopy Snoopy. He sent in a review.
Oh. Classy.
Very classy. Just a few weeks ago, actually, gave us a 5-star review. And Was Up Man 243 also gave us a 5-star review in October. So yeah, if you guys send us in a review on iTunes, I will totally shout it out as long as I see it in time. So yeah, if that's not an incentive to do so, then just know that it really helps us grow. So please do that. You can check us out on Mario Party Legacy at MarioPartyLegacy.com and the Lost Levels podcast at thelostlevels.MarioPartyLegacy.com. We still have that Tumblr, which is thelostlevelspodcast.tumblr.com. And we're also on YouTube, youtube.com/user/thelostlevelsmpl. You can find me on Twitter, Nintendo Network, and what did I not say? YouTube as SuperZambezi, which this I did not mention. My 3rd hard drive failed. Another hard drive failed.
Jeez.
The 3rd one. I had 3 hard drives. They all failed within 2 months. I actually fixed it, though. I popped it open. I moved the little needle head around, which you're not supposed to open up, but I did it anyway, and it's currently working. I don't know for how long, but it is working.
I hate when those days happen where it's just everything decides to crash in on itself. Just... those are awful.
Yeah.
Well, it's not days, months, but yeah, like moments in time where everything just decides to hate you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Where can we find you, Soul?
Oh, usually you can find me in prison, but lately you can follow me on Tumblr at Greninja or Miiverse at Compete, which I have not been on Miiverse in a while, so I don't know if you guys have said anything, but I'm pretty sure, like, someone keeps commenting on one of my levels, because, I explained, like, forever ago I did a Super Mario Maker, and I released a couple levels, and, like, my first level is apparently super hard, and I'm like, I'm sitting here like, maybe I played it so many times over, but
the Mushroom Mystery one? No, that's Yoshi, man. The
trampolines. I don't think you played it, but it's fine. Everyone kept commenting on it and stuff, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's so hard, and I'm like, sitting here like, oh, you haven't even seen anything yet, because, like, the second one I have trouble on. The first one I don't, but the second level I have trouble on.
Brother. Oh my gosh.
I'm a good Samaritan. Just giving people favors of, yeah. But that's all, I'm sorry. I keep talking. Oh wait, that's the end.
Oh yes, that's the noise, that's the sound that makes when you get a golden banana. You did it!
They should add him in Smash Brothers.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so thank you everyone for listening, and we will talk to you next week.
Yay!